This is a favorite thing for you.
It is.
Today, we are talking about Meta's big leap into the future of wearable AI, the Meta Ray-Ban display glasses. These aren't just sunglasses with a screen. They combine augmented reality, gesture-based neural controls, and AI-driven features into a stylish pair of Ray-Ban sunglasses. What's going on here?
Yeah, so this is cool. So this is different than some of the glasses that we've covered before. Because this uses a waveguide technology as opposed to little LCDs or LCD screens. But this is cool. So instead of constantly pulling out your phone, these, and they're going for about $800 US, put a tiny screen right in your field of vision. So think of it like having a small TV floating in the corner of your eye. And you control it using a wristband that reads your muscle signals. And I'm going to pause here because I feel the wristband is the big technological advancement, not the display, not the glasses themselves. So the wristband reads your muscle signals when you move your fingers. So you don't need to touch anything or talk out loud. So think of it like this. You have a personal assistant that shows you texts, gives you directions, translates languages in real time, gives you closed captioning, and lets you take photos, all while kind of looking normal, right? So just to kind of get into some of the details here, they utilize a 600 by 600 pixel, which is about 0.36 megapixel. But the cool thing about these ones is they're full color, and it's a liquid crystal on silicon, or LCOS. And I just touched on it earlier, the reflective waveguide system. So the display itself achieves an impressive peak brightness of 5,000 nits, which is very much brighter than any smartphone or even the Apple Watch Ultra. So you can read it in direct sunlight. So the way that the waveguide technology works, it employs a reflective rather than diffractive optic, which provides kind of a superior light efficiency and allows the tiny microdisplay to remain small, cool, and power efficient. So it's really, really cool. That it's more designed for glanceable interactions rather than prolonged viewing, like the other glasses that we've covered, where you get a 200-inch screen. It's like a monitor on your face, or a projector screen on your face. But what are your thoughts on this, Craig?
I think we are entering new territory where it's as far as I'm concerned, this is glass holes 2.0.
Okay.
I mean, as a technology, I think it's cool, but humans are not cool. So, if you do recall when Google Glasses first came out, there was bars and all these places that banned them. You weren't allowed to have them in there. People were getting beaten up and all this stuff. And so it was one of those things. And, but I think we've come a long way as far as that is concerned. But at the same time, people don't like not knowing if they're being recorded.
Yes. But my question to you is, are people going to, obviously there's going to be people that are more observant than others. And yes, there'll be problems that are caused. There's problems nowadays being caused with people who pull.
So that aside, I agree. What you're saying is, will people know that you're doing it or whatnot? Eventually, yes. But eventually everyone will have it and no one will care. Just like everything else, people are always recording on their smartphones and stuff. At first, it was intrusive. Now no one cares. So eventually, no one's going to care. But it's just going to take a while. But on the other flip side of it, this is pretty cool technology. The 5,000 nits of brightness in your glasses there, that is very impressive.
Yeah.
What else it can do, like the AI involved, as we get more and more connected. And you and I deal with AI agents and tools that can do all these cool things that, as long as it can connect itself, because we're talking about potentially being a phone-less device.
I don't know if it can be phoneless given its lack of connectivity. We're getting there. I agree, yes. But like technology is going to have to shrink a little bit more, I think.
Yeah. So right now you definitely need the phone to do a bunch of stuff, but once you're connected to the internet and AI, you could just be walking around and doing stuff with your glasses and do all sorts of cool ethical and unethical things. But
Yeah.
to get back to your question, which I totally threw aside, was the cool thing about the wristband. So you think the wristband, because previous things use either a wired controller or hand gestures that the cameras have to see, that the wristband is more intuitive and allows for more fine-tuned control?
Yeah, let's talk about this. So it contains a bunch of sensors that detect electrical signals that are generated by muscle activity in the wrist when users make subtle finger movements. So signals that occur even before visual motion happens. That's the cool part. So the system is using machine learning algorithms to translate these muscle signals into digital commands, with processing happening locally on device for privacy protection, which is cool. So unlike camera-based hand tracking, the EMG doesn't require line of sight. It works effectively in low light conditions. And it's non-invasive kind of thing as far as like people aren't going to notice. So I feel like that's the more advancement here is this EMG or SEMG interface.
Yeah, it sounds really interesting. And until I actually use it, I mean, we've heard of new interfaces all the time that are going to change everything. The Apple Pencil, this, that, gestures, Newton, whatever, and they never quite take. So we'll see how this one does.
Yeah.
Because this likens back to the PlayStation Glove, which didn't quite go very far, but it's just a wristband. So I'm just seeing we've come a long way technology-wise. Will it actually interpret
the
things?
Nintendo Power Glove?
Wasn't it the Sony? Oh, was it Nintendo Power Glove? Maybe it was Nintendo. Yeah, it was probably right.
I had it. Yeah. It was fun.
The thing I like about this, and most of them do this, I get ripped for this all the time, is that these have prescription lens support ranging from +4 to -4.
Yeah.
So correcting most vision support. So you're okay with that for most people. A lot of these things you have to dig far along to find out. And a lot of them have the different dials to tune in and whatever at the top. But the more you get into these things trying to look and be small, you don't want those dials. You want it either software or to be automatic and whatnot, which is kind of what I was getting at before. Battery performance, 6 hours for glasses, 18 hours for the neural band wristband device.
Yeah. So I'm not as excited because it's Meta, just because I feel like it's more of a closed environment. Although they did say that they were going to allow for third-party apps, I want something that's more open, like an Android-based type glasses, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and we already know Meta's previous version have been hacked, their first version, and we've seen what some of the people can do with real-time streaming apps to Instagram, identifying people around them, and then finding their social media and going up, say, hey, I remember you from this conference that they were never at, and that kind of stuff. This is going to take that to a next level.
Yeah.
When you're, and some point that's a benefit when you're, the dream is to be able to go in a room and, the name of your contact that you're looking at pops up so you don't forget. And maybe some contact details like it's their birthday next week or what have you, that so you get just like an ideally a database, not necessarily super intrusive where it says let's scrape everybody's face in this room and find them in social media and do weird things to them. So it depends what you're using them for, but when you say closed, that's why I say it was hacked pretty easily already. And Meta open sources their AI stuff. So it'll be curious to see with its AI integration.
I know it open sources its AI stuff, but I feel like it would advance much quicker if it was Android based. That's just me though. And you and I have never used, or at least I haven't, Llama. How good is Llama? Or can you use other AIs?
Well, I use Llama for different things, and there's a lot of AIs out there based on it. Numatron and a bunch of others are based on Llama. There's Llama engines trained specifically. So it depends on what you're doing. Yeah, I don't use it a lot for different things, but I do use it. And just because eventually I get lazy and say, okay, just use OpenAI or just use Claude or just use whatever.
Yeah.
There's 3 or 4, but I use Open Router and I have access to all of them. And it's pretty interesting when you start using the different ones that are really good at different things, or even running workflows through DeepSeek and through OpenAI and through Perplexity, for example, and then mixing the output at the end to combine with something better.
Yeah.
So that's why you say, back to this. Again, I don't know if I want Android on my glasses. So that's why, I mean, the connectivity has to be there. It has to be an open API. It has to be able to talk to different things so it can interface with different apps. So then you can have it on Android, or you can have it on iPhone, or you can have it on whatever. But do we want the glasses themselves to have that overhead? Because as soon as you have that overhead versus, say, whatever type thing, hopefully they've built that's fast and doesn't have to support all these apps and doesn't. That's why I think it's better to start specifically with a glasses-based operating system that strips out all these other things, and then we'll maybe move along to a point where we'll have on glasses apps.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, I don't know if you saw this morning on TLDR, Apple scrapping their vision goggles and going the glass route like Meta. So Meta is really onto something.
Well, I talked about they scrapped their vision goggles ages ago. We got all roasted for it. And then people, they're still selling them. Yeah, they're not making them anymore. And then they realized that the stuff ran out. Then they talked about the version 2. And then there's some of those apparently coming out. But the whole plan is being scrapped for glasses. Yeah. It's like it just wasn't a fit. No one wants that on their head. It's isolating. It's all those things. It just doesn't work for most people in society. The concept is cool. Yeah. Let's get back into the gestures controls. I'm going through. Here are some of the stuff that they're touting. Cooking assistance displays recipes step by step. So social acceptability enhanced by maintaining Ray-Ban Wayfarer aesthetic while embedding advanced technology. I don't know if that's good. Gesture controls, hardware advancement. There was a couple applications here, I thought. With travel integration, and features include translation, cultural context, and turn-by-turn navigation directly in the field of vision. Professional applications go real-time captioning, multilingual meetings, and hands-free productivity tools. So some of these sound pretty good. Designed with adaptive transitions when you're going from indoor to outdoor. I mean, if I can get prescription in these, it sounds like they're not going to be that much more expensive than my prescription glasses. So why?
You know what? I think I might buy them still, but we can't buy them in Canada for a while. But this is a decent technology. It's color, unlike there's another one that have waveguide, and you and I talked about it. I don't think we talked about it on the show, but it's only in green. So this is full color, which is awesome. But we didn't talk about the failure during the demo, which was kind of funny, because you were talking about the cooking stuff that it can do, and during a cooking demonstration, it wasn't listening to what I do first. He couldn't pick up his WhatsApp video call, and they blamed it on Wi-Fi congestion. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, we've seen a bunch of crashes and demos recently. Infamously, if you're in the gaming space, you saw the Conan live playing Borderlands 4 crash, and he crashed the game through the live promo stream and stuff. And so it's the danger of live demos. As much as I don't like what Apple does now for their presentations, because it's all pre-recorded stuff, everything, you don't have the crashes. You don't have the magical moments that happen when you do it live.
Yeah. You know what, though? Props to Mark Zuckerberg, because it's not like he's demoing a known technology that's been around for years. He's demoing this advanced technology, right? And things can go wrong, especially with something it's still not released yet. But it's at the point where it could be released. So definitely props to him for it, though.
I think they're out. Best Buy, Sunglass Hut.
No, but when he did the demo, they weren't out.
Yeah, fair enough. That's fine. And you have to do that. But let's give him props. He's not pulling a rabbit R1 that looks like it's going to be this amazing product and delivers junk, right?
So glad I didn't buy that.
So, we're much farther along, and I appreciate that we're moving technology ahead. And, I'm taking the what if I'm a jerk attitude when I look at some of these things and we talk about them and say, well, it can be abused for all these things. But the technology is cool and moving places that really can take productivity to another level. And just imagine, now with everyone vibe coding and doing whatever, having these glasses, have a little screen saying, hey, update my app to do this. And you have the little coding scrolling and you're telling your agent to book an appointment while you're like, when you have the processing and the agents and the stuff working and you can do this stuff just when you're walking, like your life can change.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to moving beyond the phone, as it were, and to seeing where this kind of technology take us. This is an exciting moment in personal technology. The Meta Ray-Ban display glasses mark a start to everyday, practical, augmented reality. Whether you want hands-free communication, smarter navigation, or real-time translation, the future is literally sitting on your face. Let us know what you think. You going to run out and get one of these or not interested? So what do you got going on, John?
Yeah, well, just helping companies secure government funding. So, it's a great time to reach out if you have any questions. How about you, Craig?
Well, there's a lot going on over at flowgrammer.ca. We're doing automation and AI and business processes. We do events, but we're really ramping our business up. And check out all the things we're doing over there. If you're interested in business automation, we've got community events where we're teaching everyone. We do an online, and we're about to launch our new resource center, flowgrammers.ca, which might be out when some of these are out. Other than that, check out for everything we do. Our monthly startup investor drinks, where you get to pitch to the crowd, business owners and investors, and have real conversations and make real connections. So for all those things, check out torontostarts.com. And for everything else, anything else, John, before we say goodbye?
No, just reach out to me on LinkedIn, John Irwin, if you want.
John Irwin on LinkedIn. Thanks, everyone. We'll talk to you soon.